తకతరి కుకుందన కిట తకధీ తకతరి కుకుందన కిట తకధీ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ మధురాపురి సరళ మృదువదన మధుసూదన ఇహ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ మధురాపురి సరళ మృదువదన మధుసూదన ఇహ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ మధురాపురి సరళ మృదువదన మధుసూదన ఇహ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ భోగదాప్త సులభ సుపుష్పగంధ కలవా భోగదాప్త సులభ సుపుష్పగంధ కలవా కస్తూరి తిలక మహిమ మమ కాంతనంద గోపగంధ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ ముష్టికాసూర చానూర మల్ల మల్ల విశారద మధుసూదన ముష్టికాసూర చానూర మల్ల మల్ల విశారద కువలయ పీఠ వర్తన కళింగ నర్తన గోకుల రక్షణ సకల సులక్షణ దేవ మర్దన కళింగ నర్తన గోకుల రక్షణ సకల సులక్షణ దేవ శిష్ట జన పాల సంకల్ప కల్ప కల్ప శతకోటి అసమ పరాభవ వీర ముని జన విహార మదన సుకుమార దైత్య సంహార దేవ వీర ముని జన విహార మదన సుకుమార దైత్య సంహార దేవ మధుర మధుర రతి సాహస సాహస విజ యువతి జన మానస పూజిత మధుర మధుర రతి సాహస సాహస విజ యువతి జన మానస పూజిత శరణాగతం కృష్ణ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ స్వాగతం కృష్ణ శరణాగతం కృష్ణ
லம்போதரம் சுந்தரம் சர்வம் ஸ்தூலதனு கஜேந்திரவதனம் லம்போதரம் சுந்தரம் பிரஸ்யந்தம் மதகம் தலுப்த மதுபவ்யாலோல கண்டஸ்தலம் பிரஸ்யந்தம் மதகம் தலுப்த மதுபவ்யாலோல கண்டஸ்தலம் தந்தாகாத மிதாரிதாரிருதிரைः சிந்தூர சோபாகரம் வந்தே வந்தே சைலசுதாசுதம் கணபதி சித்திப்பிரதோ காமதம் குந்தரி கிட்ட குந்தரி ஜெயந்தன குந்தரி கிட்ட குந்தரி ஜெயந்தன குந்தரி கிட்ட குந்தரி ஜெயந்தன குந்தரி கிட்ட குந்தரி தளா ఎరలవ శశస గంగణపతికి కై మోకులు ఆద్యంతరకిత ఎరలవ శశస గంగణపతికి కై మోకులు విఘ్న భగ్న నిమగ్న వర సద్గుణ గంగణపతికి నా ప్రణతులు విఘ్న భగ్న నిమగ్న వర సద్గుణ గంగణపతికి నా ప్రణతులు విఘ్న భగ్న నిమగ్న వర సద్గుణ గంగణపతికి నా ప్రణతులు గంగణపతికి ప్రణతులు గంగణపతికి ప్రణతులు 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 ప్రణతులు
తగదిరదం తగదిరదం తగదిరదా దిగదిగదై దిత్తై దిత్తై దత్తది దత్తహం తా దిగదిగదై దిత్తై దిత్తై దత్తది దత్తహం దత్తాను తకిటకిన తొంగడిగుతం తొంగ్ నంగడిగిడతగ 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 దీందాం ను తకిటకిన తొంగడిగుతం తొంగ్ నంగడిగిడతగ 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 దీంద తాహంగిత్తంగిక్కిడతగ దిక్కిత్త తత్తా దుగుడరి నంగడిగిడతగ 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 దీందాం నంగడిగిడతగ 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 దీంద తక్కు డిక్కు తక్కిట తొంగడిగిడతగ డేన్ తంగిక్కిడతగ దిక్ తాకు డిక్కు తక్కిట తొంగడిగిడతగ డేన్ తంగిక్కిడతగ దిక్ తద్దరి దండం దండతా తక్కిడతగ జం తగిడతగ జం దిత్తకుం తదికు దండ తద్దరి దండం దండతా తక్కిడతగ జం తగిడతగ జం దిత్తకుం తదికు దండ దండ దండత జణు జణుత దిమి దిమిత తతత దిది తత తత తాకిడగడ జంగడగడ జంతరి తలంగు దిక్కిడతగ దిగితగ తొంగు దక్కు దిక్కు దక్కు దిగితగ తలంగు దగ దివితగ దిగిన తొం తత్తై తట్టత్త దింద తత్తై తట్టత్త దింద తోత దిత్తదగ తత్త దింద జక్త దిం తత్తదా దిత్త దిత్త ది తత్తదా దిత్త దిత్తదగ తత్త దింద జక్త దిం తత్తదా దిత్త దిత్తదగ తత్త దింద జక్త దిం తత్తదా దిత్త దిత్తదగ తత్త జన దిత్తగడ దగడ తొం దిత్తగడ దగడ తొం దిత్తగడ దగడ తొం
కంఠీ ఓంకార పంజరశుకీ ఉపనిషదుద్యాన కేళికల కంఠీ ఆగమ విపిన మయూరీ అంతర్విభావయేద్ గౌరీ
తాంతక జంతరిత తది కిటతం తకతరి జంతరిత తది కిటతం తాంతకజం తకతరి జం తజ్జం తది కిటతం తది కిటతం తది కిటతం
అఖిలాండేశ్వరి చాముండేశ్వరి పాలయ మాం గౌరీ
పరిపాలయ మాం గౌరీ అఖిలాండేశ్వరి చాముండేశ్వరి పాలయ తద్ధీం తకధిమి తకచను తకధిమి తకచను తాం తద్ధీం తద్ధీం తకధిమి తకచను తకధిమి తకచను తాం ధీం తోం నం తరగడదు తరగడదు తరగడదు.
శుభగాత్రి గిరిరాజ పుత్రి
అభినేత్రి శర్వార్ధగాత్రి
శుభగాత్రి గిరిరాజ పుత్రి
అభినేత్రి శర్వార్ధగాత్రి
సర్వార్థ సంధాత్రి జగదేక జనయిత్రి చంద్రప్రభాధవళ కీర్తి
సర్వార్ధ సంధాత్రి జగదేక జనయిత్రి చంద్రప్రభాధవళ కీర్తి.
చతుర్బాహు సంరక్షిత శిక్షిత చతుర్భశాంతర భువన పాలిని
కుంకుమరాగ శోభిని
కుసుమ బాణ సంశోభిని
మౌన సుహాసిని గాన వినోదిని భగవతి పార్వతీ దేవి.
అఖిలాండేశ్వరి చాముండేశ్వరి పాలయ మాం గౌరీ పరిపాలయ మాం గౌరీ
తధీం తజం తకజం తకజం తరగడదు తరగడదు తధీం తజం తకజం తకజం తరగడదు తరగడదు తకధీం 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 తాం తకధీం తజనుతాం.
శ్రీహరి ప్రణయాంబురాశి
శ్రీపాద విచలిత క్షీరాంబురాశి
శ్రీహరి ప్రణయాంబురాశి
శ్రీపాద విచలిత క్షీరాంబురాశి
శ్రీపీఠ సంవర్ధిని డోలాసురమర్దిని
శ్రీపీఠ సంవర్ధిని డోలాసురమర్దిని
ధనలక్ష్మి ధాన్యలక్ష్మి ధైర్యలక్ష్మి విజయలక్ష్మి
ధనలక్ష్మి ధాన్యలక్ష్మి ధైర్యలక్ష్మి విజయలక్ష్మి
ఆదిలక్ష్మి విద్యాలక్ష్మి గజలక్ష్మి సంతానలక్ష్మి
సకల భోగ సౌభాగ్యలక్ష్మి శ్రీ మహాలక్ష్మి దేవి.
అఖిలాండేశ్వరి చాముండేశ్వరి పాలయ మాం గౌరీ పరిపాలయ మాం గౌరీ
తకధిమి తకచను తకధిమి తకచను తకచను తకధిమి తకచను తకధిమితో
ఇందువదనే కుందరదనే వీణా పుస్తకధారిణే
ఇందువదనే కుందరదనే వీణా పుస్తకధారిణి
శుక శౌనకాది వ్యాస వాల్మీకి మునిజన పూజిత శుభచరణే
శుక శౌనకాది వ్యాస వాల్మీకి మునిజన పూజిత శుభచరణే
సరస సాహిత్య స్వరస సంగీత స్తనయుగళే
తకతధిం ధిం
సరస సాహిత్య స్వరస సంగీత స్తనయుగళే
తకచండు
వరదే అక్షర రూపిణే
శారదే దేవి
అఖిలాండేశ్వరి చాముండేశ్వరి పాలయ మాం గౌరీ పరిపాలయ మాం గౌరీ ఇంద్రాటవీ వాసినే యోగ సంధ్యా సముద్భాసినే
సింహాసన స్థాయినే దుష్టహర బ్రహ్మ క్రియాశాలినే
విష్ణుప్రియే సర్వలోక ప్రియే
సర్వనామ ప్రియే ధర్మ సమర ప్రియే
హే బ్రహ్మచారిణే
దుష్కర్మ వారిణే
హే విలంబిత కేశపాశినే
మహిష మర్దనశీల మహిత గర్జనలోల భయద నర్తన కేళికే కాళికే
అయిపోగానే అమ్మాయికి కోడలు చే దిష్టి తీయించు.
Jai Gurudatta. Recap from today's afternoon. The message was as follows. O grandson, your great-grandfather ruled righteously. He then left kingship and took up penance. I too am doing penance. Never before there was a bad incident while your ancestors were ruling. But during your reign, an unfortunate event took place. You must be made aware of it. Such unfortunate events are happening in your watch. You are doing everything well. You have restrained your senses. But you made one mistake, not appointing spies. You do not have spies. This is your mistake. I see this fault in you. So you are unable to see right from wrong. King sees the world through the eyes of the spies. Spies report to the king about forests, ashramas, towns, etc. The snakes that bite have come from Patala, and they bit 7 young boys, sons of sages. They poisoned all the freshwater lakes that support the ashrama. Grandmother continued, the water bodies are becoming poisonous. The ashrama is riddled with poisonous snakes. They are lurking everywhere. The sages are doing a ritual to pacify those creatures and make them return to Patala. They are not trying to kill them. It is not that those sages don't have inability to retort. They do not have the right to do so. It is you who must take action. Once you become a king, you must take care of everyone in the kingdom. You have no right to be revel in comforts. You must keep track of who is doing what, how much money the treasurer has, who is the enemy, who are your friends, who is adhering to dharma, what kind of idiots are living in the kingdom. You must keep a tab on all of these. King, with the help of spies, must know all of these. He must also have spies to spy on other spies. Do you not have that network? King must work day and night to be aware of who is a friend and who is a foe. He should not be too interested in comforts. King's body is not to enjoy comforts. It is only for enduring pain. Kings will have to face big troubles. When you try to do big things, you will have big difficulties. The troubles of the body are no big deal. You must overlook it. If you give it too much attention, it will pull you down. You must win over it and perform. Only when you win over it will you achieve your target. You have taken upon yourself a great responsibility, so you must work tirelessly. The Devatas will be seeing you and taking you to heaven. Make a resolution that you will endure difficulties. It is your fault that sages were tormented by poisonous snakes. You punish the wrongdoers and protect the good. In return, you will get 1/6 part of the punya. If you do not protect the populace, you will contract sin of the wrongdoers. If you do not act on this immediately and help these sages, you will contract sin. If you want punya, you must save those sages. If you are fine with contracting sin, then you can choose not to act. I am your father's mother. I am sending you this message, said the sage who relayed the message. King Marutta was embarrassed. He felt he was blinded because of not having spies. He has eyes, but he doesn't have any knowledge of what's happening in the kingdom. Immediately, he took his bow and arrows and went to ashrama. He offered salutations to his grandmother and other sages. They offered felicitations. He then saw the 7 sages who lost their lives and were sorrowful. King Marutta said, now everyone will see what I am going to do to teach lesson to these snakes. He then resolved to unleash Samvartaka Astra, which is going to reduce all snakes to ashes. He unleashed the Astra and fire engulfed Nagaloka. Then snakes were dying everywhere. Some snakes then sought refuge from Marutta's mother, Vaishali. The snakes prayed to Vaishali with choked voices. O mother, save us from the might of your son. The astra is burning us all. Please ask him to take it back. Vaishali was telling Avikshit, in the past, I had told you that snakes took me to their world from the river and asked me to give them refuge when the time comes. I promised them back then. Now these snakes are burning due to the brilliance of our sun. O husband, you must somehow convince your son. Snakes getting completely destroyed is not good thing. They are part of this creation. Vaishali prayed to Akshat. He said, snakes have committed a folly, and that's why King Maruta is punishing them. I am not sure if he will be convinced even if I tell him. Then those snakes sought his refuge as well. As a royal, you must save those in trouble and seek refuge. Then he said that he will make an attempt because Dharma says you must not reject anyone who comes seeking refuge. You must at least help them by comforting words. If you do not do so and do 10 other dharmic activities, that will be futile. If King Maruta doesn't agree, then I will nullify his astra with my weapons. Avikshit reached the ashrama where he saw King Maruta was holding his astras. It was a terrible sight to behold, the fire engulfing from all the snakes. He said to his son, do not be angry. As Avikshit was trying to tell him again and again, his words fumbled, but Avikshit did not give up. King Maruta looked at his father again and again while holding up his weapons. He offered salutations to parents without leaving his weapons. King Maruta said, these snakes are my enemies. They killed these innocent young sages. They also polluted their water bodies and made them poisonous during my reign. So I will not spare them. Please do not stop me in doing so. If you punish, Avikshit is saying, if you punish these snakes, I will go to hell. Even if you do not punish them, I will still go to hell. I do not wish to stop you, and I must actually punish them too. But they have sought my refuge, and that's why I am talking to you. King Maruta was not ready to heed his words. King Maruta was very adamant. I do not wish to show any mercy to these snakes. One who is punishable must be punished. One who is to be protected must be protected. If not done so, we will contract sin. Avikshit was repeatedly telling his son to take his astras back. But my son was not heeding his words. He said, these snakes sought my refuge, so I cannot behold while your astras kill them. I will have to repel your astras. Do not think you're the only one with the knowledge of astras in this world. Avikshit was readying to unleash Kalastra. King Maruta was telling his father, this Samvartaka astra was only directed towards snakes. It will not harm you. Why are you pointing your astras at me? I do not wish to kill you. I am doing my dharma as a king. Avikshit says he was doing his dharma. Avikshit continued, even if the enemy seeks refuge, you must oblige. If not, it is the worst. As you are not heeding to me, you are punishable, so get ready to die at my hands. King Maruta said, a king must punish anyone who stands in the way of dharma. So I am prepared to punish you as well. Do not be angry as I am doing this to fulfill my swadharma. Sages saw these two royals who were readying to kill each other. They stood in between them and spoke to King Maruta. Why are you trying to kill your father, O Avikshit? Your son always acts for universal benefit. Why do you wish to kill him? Then sages gave it a thought. This entire trouble came up because of loss of 7 young sages. They prayed to snakes to bring them back to life. Then those snake devatas sucked out all the poison in them and brought them back to life. At that time, the sages told snakes something very important. Do not come amidst people. You live in your anthills and burrows. Then snakes gave a word that they will not lurk where people are there. Those who listen to this story will be absolved from all snakes or snake bite related troubles or curses or faults. Snake devatas will be benevolent to them and bless them with riches and good, family and prosperity. We heard the story on the auspicious day. Subrahmanya Swami and the snake devatas are closely related. He took up snake form and did penance in Sri Shailam. Sage Kraushtaki heard Marutta's story from Sage Markandeya, says Sri Swamiji. Then Sage Kraushtaki asked about Marutta's son and his lineage. Sage Markandeya continued, Marutta had 18 sons. Harishchandra was the eldest one. He face spread to all corners of the world because of the yajnas he did. He used to think only one thing. What did my ancestors do? Harishchandra learnt about his ancestors. They did yajnas and ruled righteously. He followed their path. Ruling righteously was the main thing. If that is not done, then what is the use of a king? A great sin will befall the king if he doesn't rule well. Thinking so, Harishchandra began doing yajnas. Once he began, he did so many yajnas and charities that people began running away because they could not accept any more charities. The people who accepted charities became so rich that they could themselves perform a yajna. Then Harishchandra promised that he will make education free, medical service free, etc. People said that we have built our own schools and hospitals with your charities, so respectfully, we do not need your charities. People were so content with his charities. He was struggling to find people who will take up charities in his yajnas. Sri Swamiji says, Sage Markandeya mentioned the story elaborately, but we discussed it very shortly. He continued, he was married to King Babruva's daughter Indrasena. When she became pregnant, she did not give birth immediately. Their son was in her womb for 9 whole years. Like an elephant's pregnancy, she kept carrying him in the womb. She restrained her senses greatly during that time. As she had such incredible sense restraint, sages named him Dhamma. He used to have amazing sense restraint. He learnt astras from the Asura king. He mastered archery and then learnt yoga as well. Princess Sumana Swayamvara is going on and Dhamma won her over. But already 3 princes liked her. She chose Dhamma instead of those 3. So those 3 kings were infuriated and came to battle with Dhamma. The other 2 died, but Vapushmantu was left. He was left with no weapons and hence Dhamma spared him. But, Sri Swamiji says, Sage Markandeya is teaching us that by leaving a portion of enemies, some troubles will come up. So, it must not be left. King Harishchandra and Indrasena went to Vanaprastha Ashrama. Dhamma was ruling and Sumana was his queen. Once, when this Vapushmantu went hunting, he realized Harishchandra and Indrasena were doing penance. He dragged Harishchandra by the hair and he wanted to execute his head. Although Indrasena pleaded teary-eyed, he did not care. He was burning with vengeance and severed his head. Then Indrasena asked a small boy from the ashrama to take the message to King Dhamma that his father was killed while doing penance. Immediately, Dhamma was infuriated and attacked his kingdom and severed his head in his battle. Sage Markandeya said there were many valorous kings in the Sun dynasty. We are talking about these stories because they will cleanse our hearts of sins. This is the last chapter of Markandeya Purana, the fruit of listening, reading of Markandeya Purana. Dharma birds told this story of what Sage Markandeya told Sage Kraushtaki. Sage Markandeya then gave permission to Sage Kraushtaki to make a move and went for Madhyanhika Anushtanam. This Upadesha was given by Lord Brahma himself. Sage Markandeya heard from the Lord. This Markandeya Purana is very pious. To those who listen or read, it enhances their lifespan, bestows health, dispels their sins. Sage Jaimini asked 4 questions to Sage Markandeya in the beginning, and Sage Markandeya sent him up to Dharma birds. He asked Sage Markandeya about Lord Krishna, Draupadi, Upapandavas. Those questions were the basis of this entire treatise. Then Dharma birds told Sage Jaimini about the son and father conversation. We talked about the Dattaswami story then, said Sri Swamiji. Later, the details about creations were told. We talked about the bad powers, Dussaha. Then we talked about the Manvantaras, where we discussed Chandi Saptashati. And then we discussed kings' lineages. What else do you wish to listen to, O sage? Asked the Dharma birds. Those who listen or those who read Markandeya Purana in gatherings, their sins are absolved and they would be ready to merge with the Lord. This is the 7th Purana, Padma, Vishnu, Shiva, Narada, and the initial Puranas. Markandeya is the 7th. Agni, Bhavishya, Linga, Varaha, Skanda, Kurma, Matsya, Garuda, Brahmananda. This Markandeya Purana started with 4 questions. By listening to all of this, all sins of many kalpas will be absolved. By listening and reading this Purana, even Brahma Hatya sin will be nullified. Swamiji was telling us about Pushkara, the sacred time of a river. The amount of punya accumulated by going to a Pushkara is accumulated when one reads or chants Markandeya Purana. The punya equivalent of chanting all the Vedas is obtained by listening to this Purana. These Puranas and Itihasas like Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. are the sacred texts that tell us the essence of Vedas. After listening to this Purana, you must worship Guru Sage Vyasa. You must give gold or donate cow or other clothes to the one who has recited this Purana for you. The one who obtained this jnana and talks about it without mentioning the Guru from whom we heard this will be equivalent to stealing scriptures. Those who talk mockingly about this will be born as dull persons for 7 births. So, we must not talk lightly about sacred texts that talk about devatas. The family members and the people in their lineage, even the ones who did not listen, will get the punya of listening to it. The people who listen to it will reach Vishnu Loka. They will not come back without falling down and merge with the Lord there. By listening to this yoga siddhi will be obtained by the listeners. This sacred text should not be told to undeserving people, non-believers and arrogant ones. Those who listen or read to it by fear or because of lobha and moha, they will contract sin. This great Purana offers dharma. It grants liberation. It alleviates physical and mental afflictions. Listening to this Purana will reduce health ailments. By listening to this, the near and dear of good ones will help him. He will be healthy and eat great food. All the sins related to enjoying other women will be nullified. 7 siddhis will be granted to the people who heard and relayed this Markandeya Purana. It graces heaven to listeners and narrators. Yoga, Jnana, Vishuddha Siddhi will be illuminated. In the end, they will be taken in a special vimana to higher planes and will be taken care of. Sage Jaimini said, O Dharma birds, you have been addressed by questions related to Mahabharata with a friendly affliction. Who else in this world would do this? You have such complete jnana and a good heart. As they are embodied as birds, Sage Jaimini offered them blessings of a long life. May you gain complete accomplishment in Sankhya Yoga. You must be having some sorrow deep in your heart because your father cursed you. May that be nullified, said Jaimini. Sage Jaimini gave them blessings and took leave from there and was readying to get back to his ashrama. While on the way, He was contemplating only on the aspects taught by those dharmic birds. Swamiji concludes the divine and inspirational discourse with a special note. Swamiji says, similarly, may all of you store all these aspects we discussed in your hearts. We have gone through the journey called Markandeya Purana and reached Siddhi today. Contemplate, reflect on them, analyze which ones are we following, where must we improve, where must we be corrected. May you do all the sadhana and obtain complete grace of Lord Dattatreya and His Holiness Sri Ganapati Sachidananda Swamiji. Jai Gurudata.
कुकुन्दन किटतकधी तकतरे कुकुन्दन किटतकधी स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा